Hello, everyone. We are here for another episode of A Bigger Bite and talking about the least controversial movie released in theaters right now. That's got all the love in the world about the king of pop, Michael. How you
The
doing,
critics are
fella?
loving it.
Critics are loving it. The fans are hating it. No, it's the exact opposite. But and even then, if you actually know how Rotten Tomatoes works and read reviews, critics aren't necessarily hating it, but we'll get to that in a bit. But I'm here with Bitesize founder Nick, with Shak, and we're gonna break down our own thoughts on Michael, as well as some of the discourse behind it. But first off, how you fellas doing? We'll start with Nick. How you doing, Nick?
I'm doing all right. This is one that we had no choice but to talk about. So I think it's good we got it on the docket.
Shaq, how you doing, man?
I'm all right, other than the allergies kicking my ass as spring is starting to pick up again. Also, like halfway, I was like low key dreading this just because of how bad the discourse has gotten so quickly that I was already like, I kind of wanted to like do my hands away of like, I posted my review. I don't give a shit what y'all think, whatever, and just move on. But yeah, we got shit we got to talk about. We got to fully like kind of expand upon this shit. And I tell you right now, there will be at least no less than like a dozen comments of like stands going like, y'all don't know nothing. This is the best movie ever made. Yada yada yada, and y'all can fuck off.
And that's fine. This is I will say this. This is a panel.
Yeah.
This is a panel of raging views. I get we look like an Oreo right now, but this is a panel of ranging views. So I know Nick isn't the biggest fan. Shaq's somewhere in the middle, and I'm middle leaning positive. Like it's that kind of review. It's that kind of discussion that's going to be taking place. So let's just dive into it, Nick. I'm gonna start off with you. We're gonna do the shit like just the shit view at the bottom, and then we're gonna build it up so people don't get as pissy. Let's go with your thoughts.
I wouldn't say it's a shit view. I would just say I was very disappointed in the film. Like on a musical level, I am a huge Michael Jackson fan. Probably on the list of one of my favorite artists of all time. And like all the stuff that was in this film, I knew going into it. Mm-hmm. All these performances that are recreated, I could pinpoint when those performances took place. Like I'm a sizable fan of him as an artist, but I don't know what the purpose of this film was in its execution.
The search for more money.
Yeah.
Shaq, your thoughts on the film?
The best way is I'd written it in my review, but like the thing to me is it's annoying. Like the movie's fine, it's okay, but it's for a movie that should be about Michael fucking Jackson, like the guy who like revolutionized, changed the game for like a lot of music, where he was so bold in his artistry. For a movie to be this bland about his life is not great.
So I'm gonna ask both of you a question. Have either of you seen MJ the musical?
No.
Okay.
No. I don't watch like musicals. Generally, they move past.
This is one of those. So it's one you might actually enjoy. It is a jukebox musical, and with Michael Jackson music, of course. So my baseline going into this film, because one, say it right now, as soon as I saw Graham King was producing this, I'm like, all right, my expectations are dog shit low, just absolutely low, because I know we talked a little bit before we went live, or not live, but started recording. That it's one of those things where, as we've each gotten further away from the film, our views on it have all lessened a bit. That's how I feel about Bohemian Rhapsody. The more I watch that film, the worse it gets. And what does both Michael and Bohemian Rhapsody have in common? They're directed by Graham King, the king of sanitized. Thank you. Produced by Graham King, the king of sanitized music biopics. Now, here, I will say my favorite music biopic of all time is Rocketman. I think that is a
Okay.
stellar fucking film. It is beyond compare. And for a guy who was essentially the Willy Wonka of pop music outside of Elton John, I was hoping for something more in the vein of that, because that's the kind of story Michael deserves, in my opinion. And there were flashes of that at times, but never to the same artistry that a Bohemian Rhapsody does. Like, I will always go point out when people are like, "What are you talking about with artistry on Bohemian Rhapsody?" I will always point to the Rocket Man scene where he.
You mean Rocket Man and not Bohemian?
Sorry, yes.
I was gonna say like 2 times. I'm like, you say the wrong movie.
Yeah. Sorry, but yes, the artistry in Rocket Man is when Elton falls into the pool and the actual title song comes on. That's an entirely beautiful sequence. That you end up seeing him become a rocket at the end of it, Dodgers fucking stadium. Like it. So what that is, when it comes to an artist like Michael Jackson, that's kind of something you would expect. He was, a lot of people considered him like the Willy Wonka of music. Am I wrong? Am I not wrong? Or actually, am I not right?
I've never heard that for specific.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not. Growing up, I heard like when I've heard people in my life compare him to a Willy Wonka of sorts, because he was always out there doing something different and crazy, and it was just working. Like getting gangs to fucking
I thought you were gonna say like, oh, he reminded me of Willy Wonka because he used to look like fucking Johnny Depp Willy Wonka.
No.
I will say, as someone who is not known for defending this film, because you brought up Graham King, I think Bohemian Rhapsody is light years better than this film.
Whoa.
Notice
I can't do all that.
The two black men on the screen are just like, homie.
Chill out.
Poorly edited. Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, poorly edited, laughable that it got any kind of editing nominations. But I learned things about Freddie Mercury. I learned fuck all about Michael Jackson.
I didn't learn fuck all about Freddie Mercury.
Freddie Mercury, and the thing is, the shit they even showed is not even the right things.
Right.
So it's like you learn misinformation.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
I'd rather. And the issue with Bo Rap is the same issue with Michael, because you had Queen as the lead producers who weren't going to let you say anything negative about Freddie.
Oh yeah,
they're not even going to anything negative about Freddie. Is make anything about them look negative.
Yeah, they're both sanitized versions. Don't get me wrong, but to me, that's part of the problem when you have the estate and the family involved in these biopics.
To which I say, once again, look at Rocket Man. Elton said, "Fuck it, go deep into my life. I don't care." Let's be honest here.
I think Rocket Man's a really good film, but I think the better example of that, because Elton wasn't as hands-on with Rocket Man, I think the better example is Better Man.
Yeah.
Which is Robbie Williams being like, "This is my story.
You think I'm a piece of shit.
These are my fuck-ups. Give it to the world."
Yeah. But he's also the rare celebrity where he's actually like self-effacing and fully admits the shit. Everybody else got the egos, and they got the PR teams going like, "We don't do that, don't say that," or whatever the fuck.
Also, just want to make it clear, Elton John was heavily involved per all reports.
Not in the same way. Like, this was Robbie's story. That's why I'm picking that. He wrote it with
but
Gondry? No, what's the director's name?
God, I forgot his name.
But okay, sure, Robbie wrote it. That there's no taking away from that. But from a producerial role, Elton was heavily involved. They wanted to tone down the sex and the drugs, and he said no, because this is part of my story. We can't do that. This needs to be honest. So I'm just saying, in that way, Better Man and Rocket Man, while Rocket Man was not written by Elton, are on the same level for me.
I get what you mean. But like I said, that was just an example where Robbie's involved. I think Rocket Man, even without Elton's involvement, even if Elton was just like, "I'm going to step away from this and give you free reign," I think it's a very similar movie. But I think
that's the case.
Better Man is an example of Robbie being involved and that bettering the project. And I almost wish the estate wasn't involved in the Michael movie, but I know that they have to be.
So here, let's talk about it. A lot of people's and critics. I don't agree with a lot of the critics here. Their issue is like, oh, we didn't get into the allegations and this, that, and the other. Well, if you did your job more thoroughly, you would know that they filmed all of that. And at the end of the day, the estate overlooked the fact that they included someone that they couldn't fucking include in that, and they couldn't just easily rewrite it and rework it. And that's why when the movie ends, the first thing we get is his story continues, because the sequel's essentially already, it's been a not so big secret, a not so small secret that the sequel's already being prepped for this fucking film.
Yeah, this would have had to bomb for them to bail on it.
And it's
not going to.
Yeah, it's looking like an $85 million opening weekend from the US and 45 from the rest of the world.
I could have told you it was going to make $1 billion before I even sat in my seat.
Right.
Yeah, we're not talking like 28 years later here, where like the third film is genuinely in jeopardy because of how the other films have done. This one, that was never a question.
Yeah. So, but point being, while yes, some blame goes on the estate, I feel like if whoever at the estate actually did their fucking homework, just like I tell some critics they need to dive a little bit more thoroughly into what they're covering. The estate had done their homework too, we'd actually have gotten what people wanted to see. But that's not what this story is about. And I honestly think part of the reason I vibed with this story, because ultimately the sole focus of this, and I'll say this part one, is Michael getting away from Joe. Now, is it sanitized to shit? Yes. Are we missing major moments and just issues and whatnot that happened in Michael's life during the time period that we're covering that you could have covered? Yes. But like, what can you do? I mean, you just throw in Quincy into the movie. Y'all ain't got to talk about the fact that this motherfucker did the whiz?
I mean, that's also not that important.
Yeah, that's just like an anecdote.
No, it actually is important, because for those who don't know, if Michael doesn't do the whiz, Michael doesn't meet Quincy. Quincy doesn't push Michael to go solo.
Yeah, but I don't think you need to have that aspect of it in the film.
But you don't. I'm saying there's no mention of, even a mention of leading up to this, because you just get, here's Quincy, and how that Michael, or excuse me, it's been talked about for a long time, how the whiz was formative in Michael's journey as a solo star. So missing that, as someone who does know that, missing that and knowing how formative it's been said that it is, that is something one of the issues I did have with it. Because if I can get half the movie being fucking song recreations, you can cut back on some of that shit and give me some more interesting stuff to work with.
Yeah, there's definitely more interesting stuff to work with. I think, okay, like let's just get into it right now. I think I probably have an issue with every aspect of this film. Except for, I don't know, probably honestly every aspect of this film. Even Coleman, who's great, I think is a sanitized version of Joe Jackson. One of our fellow writers brought it up pretty well today, which was saying that they portray Joe Jackson like Richard in King Richard, that he was just a guy who was just hard on his kids. And like, by all accounts, Joe Jackson was a bastard. And did a lot of bad things, way more than what they.
I wouldn't say they sanitized it, but they definitely made it more of a shadow rather than having the door open all the way.
Yeah,
I think they made it more like a cart. Like I said, they made it like, I thought he was still good-ish. I thought he was good. I think the problem is there's times where it just felt like he was becoming a cartoon. Like the scene with him and Don King, where they're like smoking cigars and I'm like, this is some fucking
Beyond.
Yeah, there's some fucking super villain shit. Like, this is fucking Megatron talking to Starscream. That's what this is happening right now.
And Joe Jackson Starscream in that case. But no, like, I didn't have an issue with I get that Coleman or that Joe Jackson is a bastard. However, again, I know who's producing this. I know that they want people to bring their kids to this film. So I already expected going into it that it was going to be a lighter take on Joe Jackson.
Yeah, as most of you are going to see in terms of abuse was just him smacking the shit out of him at the beginning, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And then like the seeing the belt come off and door closing, like
exactly that type.
After
of shit.
that, you got the first one, and then after that was all illusions,
Which
and that's
is,
what I was expecting.
That's some after school special shit.
Yeah.
Which the after school special was better than this movie.
Oh yeah. Wait, which one? The Jacksons? The like Jackson's American Dream or whatever?
Yes, the one with Angela Bassett.
Yes. I thought you were gonna say like the one with Flex Alexander.
No.
But yeah, like I think Coleman gives a strong performance, but I think the version of Joe Jackson they portray is an inauthentic one because it is so sanitized. I think that Jaafar Jackson is really good as Michael in the way that at no point during the film did I not see Michael. However, I've seen nothing from him that leads me to think that he is going to nail it in this second version of the film where they go into the deeper versions of Michael's being.
So I disagree with that because I will point to the gangs scene and seeing and the creation of the Thriller album and figuring out what the title, like all of that was part of some of the most interesting shit in the movie to me. Just being I'm gonna be a buck. Like I'm like where's this movie? Because this is what I loved. This is what I'm loving and vibing with. And that I think is when you actually get to dive into Michael's psyche a bit more. And I think Jaafar showed a lot without having to say a lot. There was a lot of, granted, it was helped by camera work and whatnot, but there's a lot of just acting he did facially that got the point across to me.
I saw that more in the Beat It scene, like when he's doing the choreography.
I'm saying all that's tying together. I'm tying all of that together because during the creation of
the Thriller one, I don't really see it all that much because literally it was just him going like, "Oh, let's push back."
Oh no. That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about the when he's in the studio and the TV's going on in the background. I'm saying when he's in the studio itself working on the album, and then it goes, he sees the news report on.
Oh, the montage of like him watching all the shit or whatever.
That then leads to the. So I'm saying that is what I'm talking about.
Okay. Yeah, like that felt like you said, Track. That felt a little like after school special. But I do think that the creation of the gangs coming together and the realization and the Beat It scene is probably my strongest scene in the film.
Yeah, that's So we are you and I are saying the same thing then, Nick. Okay.
But even then, it still does. Like my thing with that is, it does show a little bit into his creative process, but I still don't really felt like I got that, like not entirely. We see the things that we know has influenced this thing, but I still don't really feel like we got the best version of that, of like what his creative process is like. At least choreography wise, sure. Musically, absolutely not.
Okay, so this is where I'm going to dive into having seen MJ the musical. That's essentially what it's well known. That's essentially what Michael's creative process. He would stare off into space or have someone play the same thing over and over again and just stand there, work things out. And then he's like, all right, we're going to try this, and go from there. That's how he was.
Oh, my issue isn't that. My issue is
I know. I was talking to Shaq because Shaq was saying that we didn't get to see. That was his creative process. So they accurately portrayed his creative process.
Yeah, but considering
it's not the most interesting
for video stuff, not for actual music. I would have preferred that for music. Like
at the same time. Well, we got a little bit of it in music, but not a lot. But at the same time, he didn't write he wrote the lyrics, but he didn't write the music itself.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like you don't really see it. Like you don't I don't know,
man. I think so. Here, going to Rocket Man, we got some of that with Elton, but because he had Barry, we didn't focus on Quincy, who was doing the music. Rocket Man, we focused a little bit on Barry. I think and that's what I'm saying. If you got more Q, I think you get more of what you're talking.
Sure. Honestly, I would say this. Yeah, like if we got more Q, they should have. I know they wouldn't because he's fucking involved in the shit. Less shit with John Branca with like Miles Teller. I'm like,
he's only in 3 scenes as it is, anyways.
But like he's only really in it. They're like, oh, I gotta show this guy because he's the exec. No, not because he's the producer. He's the current co-executor of the estate. So like, oh, we gotta have him in the movie because he's still involved with this shit this heavily.
Wait. Y'all know the fact that they had initially cast a no-name actor, and Branco is like, no, I want a semi-prominent actor to play me. Y'all heard about that?
Of course he fucking did.
Yeah.
Ego.
Yeah, I think the big thing that sticks out for me about this film is, like you said, people are saying like, oh, I wanted the controversy, I wanted the allegations, I wanted all that. Even if you take all that out and you are like, I'm going to make a whitewashed Michael Jackson biopic that is just 100% skewing positive, that this is a prodigy, that every person he came up against, they were stunned by his brilliance and his talent. There's still so many more interesting things about the positive side of Michael Jackson. They just omitted.
And the thing is, even if you want to go like the it doesn't even need to be the negative shit about the controversy specifically, but like I said, any fascinating part of his life that's like could be used for drama, in the fact that like this
Jehovah's Witness trouble,
not the Jehovah's Witness thing. I mean, like his Arrested Development, essentially, how that man has never had a normal life in the sense of like one side he's just being abused by his father constantly, and on the other half he's the most famous person on the planet, so he's never had a time to have any normal childhood, and even any connection that he would have with his brothers are extras. They have 2 lines tops in general. So like I think that would be a more fascinating thing to explore, like the dealing with hyper levels of fame that like no human has reached or should reach. And that would be a much more interesting film.
I agree with you. And they were like, let's make allusions to that instead, like
for like 10 seconds.
Yeah,
and then,
10 seconds at a time. It's like 3 times in the movie, seconds at a time. Let's make allusions and have his mom be like, I know you so special, baby. It's okay.
Yeah. Or having a fucking CG animal show up.
Listen.
Yo, Bubbles.
We got Bubbles. I was like,
I said, I'm like, that's Caesar. That's not Bubbles.
I was like, okay. I mean, I get we needed to have Bubbles in it, but like, think about how much they probably paid for that CGI monkey float.
Oh, you already know they did.
For the 3 scenes that it's into.
Again, like, you needed Bubbles. I get that. That's fine. You needed Bubbles. You cast and cut Diana Ross.
Yeah.
Like, but I think the thing, even if you're looking at it just from
Diana Ross ties into the whiz of it all.
But even if you're looking at it from just a filmmaking perspective, like you take out anything you know about Michael Jackson, the person, does the way this story goes, the arc of this story, and Coleman and Joe's wanting to do the final tour with the guys, get them back together, get Michael and his brother, Michael agreeing to do it. Do you not think that carries a little bit more weight if you show he has some kind of a relationship with his brothers, which he did, but they just don't show it in the film?
I show here. I think it carried the same weight that for me personally, that you were talking about, you wanted it, because Michael had so many other things weighing on him. And like Shaq said, we don't get to dive in enough to the other things. And we're just essentially seeing like, hey, like, yeah, you got to take care of your family, man. From Joe's pushing, take care of your family. We're the ones that are here. But at the same time, you saw those couple moments of, hey, let's do this. And his brothers, because his brothers got to have semi-normal childhoods early on that Michael didn't.
Yeah. But I feel like for that you would still need a scene, or at least one of them would go by and say like, "Hey, Mike, we were thinking about
at least Tito, man.
At least Tito, even fucking Jermaine or whatever the fuck."
Jermaine Yo, Mike, I got kids and family at home, man.
Literally,
I
it's
can't
like,
play
hey,
no
yeah.
sister.
So yeah, we're not making all that money that you making, or some shit like that.
And like, there's a lot of drama that actually goes on behind the scenes with Michael getting his first album made that I felt that shouldn't have been omitted.
Dude,
Yeah.
like, it's in it. Don't get me wrong. Like, the music video is in it. Thriller as an album is completely. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. And
it's still the highest.
Past.
It's still,
Yeah, isn't it still the most sold album of all time?
Oh, it's definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, let me look. While you guys are talking,
I'm on already, Shaq.
Oh no, like, it still is.
Yeah.
There you go. And it's relatively like that song. It's not a one song album. Like that's zoomed past.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The fact, like,
it's still number one by like a sizable fucking margin.
It's not getting beat. The next best one, the next highest selling one is Back in Black by AC/DC
by like 20 million copies.
That's wild.
Like, it's. Can you look, Shaq, go over those track lists for a second there?
I mean, it's literally just not like 9 songs, which is all bangers. Hold on.
Want to be starting something?
Yeah,
Baby Be Mine.
Which honestly, which I know it's weird to say underrated in the context of fucking Thriller, but like that might be the most underrated song of the album.
The Girl Is Mine.
I'll say it's overhated.
Right.
Yeah.
Thriller.
Yep.
Beat It. Billie Jean. Human Nature. PYT. The Lady in My Life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yes. Oh, I will say. Fucking hell! I'll say this. That scene with Mike Myers is a horrible fucking scene.
It's a Graham King film.
No. But it's just like the way it was written. Was it that he said that, like, because the scene they're talking about, like how they want to break the color barrier on MTV with this. Yes. Which honestly, that's a valid thing to bring up, and it's like. But like, didn't Michael say something like, "I don't want the music to be like sitting at the back of the bus" or some shit like that? I was like, "Ain't no goddamn way you just said this shit to me."
And like, whether it's the way it actually happened or not with that character, like you made it a white savior moment.
Yeah, to have like Mike Myers go like, "My mind has changed," and do like, don't.
Listen, he just played the same character he played in Bo Rap. That's literally all he did.
Just a different record. Just a different executive.
It's like you said, there are enough inaccuracies in here that I feel like if you were going to have them, you could have made them for the betterment of the story. You could have fictionalized certain parts, and they didn't bother doing that. And if they were going to do it, like I said, like the white savior moment, it would be like, Miles Teller character comes up to Michael and goes, "Hey, I've got this idea for a song called 'They Don't Care About Us' because us rich men are being held down." It's like, what? That's the kind of like mindset you got. Like Michael Jackson is an activist and is someone who was trying to do things for the black community, except for that little bit that you saw about gang violence. Like that was something that was interesting about the early on of his career.
Yeah, even the whole thing of his note, like, again, I know we keep talking about it, but like shit that's like interesting is like his perceived insecurity and like his perfectionism when he looks at like the off the wall cover, goes like, "I got to get my nose done." Yep. That's one of those things I'm like, this is a fascinating aspect you could tackle, but you don't do it.
Don't forget the fact that you have Joe constantly, because his dad and family put over his nose. So like, as soon as the first nose comment came from Joe, I'm like, and okay. Now, here we got to talk about this because Shaq, I know a lot of black folk do not subscribe to the reports of Michael having that skin condition.
Oh, the vitiligo? Yeah.
Because let's be honest, in the black community, everyone likes to say bullshit about that.
Yeah. Dude, literally, I rewatched not too long ago, a couple days ago, we rewatched the Pimp Chronicles, Cat Williams special. And even he goes on about like that shit was bullshit.
Yes.
Dude, he spent the last 5 minutes of that special just shitting on Michael, which is crazy.
But like when we had it in the movie, I'm like, dog. Look, come on. We're not stupid, bro.
Mm-hmm. I think like it's a valid thing to bring. I think maybe he did have it to a degree, but like I think it's one of those things where because he exacerbated with the skin bleaching and him wanting to not be how he was before, and I'm like that again.
Mac, I'll say it.
Avenue.
He didn't want to be known as a nigga.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, sorry.
I'm dancing around. Basically, yes.
That's my one, Nick. That's my one. He didn't want to be known as a nigga.
I think Shaq's kind of onto something there, though. I think that probably was the condition, and it was very discreet, like no one would ever have known. And it was because of the way that he was raised, this hint of imperfection, that he went so overboard. It may not have been him; it may have been people in his camp and his whatever. That he went so overboard that he ended up.
Because imagine, say it was like normal fiddle.
I can't subscribe to that because I have heard and learned things so much over the years when it came to that man and his view of I need to help Black society, but I don't necessarily need to be a part of Black society.
Yeah,
that's why it's like don't
like. At work, like I imagine at worst, he wouldn't even be like anywhere near looking like fucking Winnie Harlow or something like that. And so, like, it still would have looked fine, but again, him wanting to not be Black was like, all right, there you go. That's...
sorry, Nick, that's something I can't let fly. Like, there's.
Well, no, I think what it ended up becoming is what you just said, but I think that that was probably the first like push in that direction. And then once he quote unquote got permission to have to do things like that, then he went all out with it. And then it was I'm gonna whiten my skin.
It's just anything that would be a seeming imperfection into the aura of Michael is like, yeah, we're not doing. Like, we'll show you that we thought about it, but like we ain't gonna really go do that. We gonna keep you in the myth. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the myth anymore. Give me like, if I'm gonna be here and we're gonna do this, give me the human, Michael the human, not Michael the myth that you've created.
Dude, you can give me a Michael Jackson story that you completely cut out the allegations. Like, that's fine. You just cut them out and tell me all the other stuff. Even you can go up until his death. And that is an interesting ass story that I would love to have seen of what made this guy go from being this Peter Pan, never going to grow up, always going to stay a kid, becomes this child adult, does wacky things like hold his baby out a window, and just makes, as he grows up or as he gets older, makes these decisions that make you really scratch your head and wonder what's happening and wonder what he's doing. And that might be what you get in the second part. But like, regardless of what you think about the allegations, there is so much more story to tell than that. And they told none of it. And like, I understand that it was a choice to not be associated in the film, to tell what you claim to be an authentic Michael Jackson story and have no existence of Janet Jackson, even if that was her choice, is annoying.
They got rid of 3 whole siblings.
No. They got rid of 2. One of them recused themselves.
That's better.
To be fair, like Reedy's not part of
before
everything.
Yeah, before I found out that like Janet was like, I didn't want to be in it. I was like, she just doesn't exist in this movie. She's an alternate universe.
To be fair, and let's be honest, his daughter was calling out the film before it even premiered. Also, she's like, this film was made for a specific section of my father's fans that exist right now.
Yeah,
and that told me, I'm like, oh, so you ain't for this shit. She's like,
with it.
She's like, I want the fucking truth out there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Prince is next to her.
They name drop Prince, and I was like, that was one of those bit. That's a laugh that I have. Like, that was a good.
I was about to say that was a great joke, and also the pettiness. Did you guys know this? The date of the premiere of this film was on the 10-year anniversary of Prince's death.
Was it actually?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I meant Prince, like Michael's kid. Prince is an extra in this film.
Oh, that I didn't know.
Didn't know that. But yeah. So sorry. The Prince joke, like, what are you doing? I'm listening to God for music. What? If I don't, he's just gonna get the good songs of Prince. I was like, yes,
that was a good joke.
If that's how you're gonna acknowledge the like rivalry they had, I respect that. That was a great one line.
There's just so much more they could have done.
There is.
Like that is the thing that like I'm left just.
So,
I don't know what this film is trying to achieve because everyone knows who Michael Jackson is, so you're not teaching him to new people. Everyone knows that music, so you're not bringing that to new people. It is just a celebration of his early career.
It's because they want to be able to have people who care about Michael Jackson bring their young children to this and be able to experience this with them and get an idea of who that man was in an HD picture.
Or if you couldn't go to a concert,
right?
This is like your closest
like
approximation to that.
Listen, one of my biggest complaints about this movie, like I give Antoine Fuqua a lot of credit because he did what he did well with what he was given to work with. But we didn't need bad in its fucking entirety at the end of the film.
We really did. But that's again,
you could have. There was that close up where he's looking almost directly in the camera, and he says, "Who's bad?" And you could have cut to black, and the story continues right there, and just let the song play over the beginning of the credits. No, you gave us the rest of the fucking performance.
All the verses.
I'm like, yo, this movie could have ended 2 fucking minutes ago.
And to be fair, going back to the other film, I think that works with the Live Aid recreation. I don't think it works here.
But here's the thing. Live Aid as a moment in Bohemian Rhapsody works extremely well because that was a massive moment for Freddie also in real life. Playing at Wembley, just performing at Wembley doesn't have the same impact.
No.
For Michael.
It's just like, hey, this is the first show I'm doing where Joe's not involved. It's like, yeah, cool, but like it doesn't feel that much different from the other performances because he's still going at the same like level from the other ones.
Well, that's the thing. The Thriller music video is the only time that they show off the spectacle of Michael on stage.
Yeah.
Like as an artist, I should say. Like I want to see like the extended version of the black or white video. The idea of him turning into a Black Panther, like that's all after this. Yes, that is what. Well, technically, that is a bad album. So you could have. That is the same timeline to end at.
But like here, what you're talking about, like part of the reason I was pissed that Joe, even though it was her choice, why I was upset Janet was omitted. I wanted Scream in the fucking
I knew it.
Fuck you with me, yeah. No, that's one of my
to get the recreation of that fucking dance number they do in the video. Yo, that would have been great.
That is one of my favorite Michael Jackson songs. And Janet's not in this. I was damn near ready to flip over a table when I found out. I was like, you mean if we get this sequel, I don't get Scream? The fuck?
If you go see Janet live, because I saw her live 2 years ago now, she does Scream with Michael's parts on the video.
Oh, that's so good.
Which gets a good pop.
Oh, that's good.
But I was like, damn, we and like I want to see Michael's final days and see his struggles with the addiction that he was hiding from the world. Like that, like, don't get me wrong. I think with this sequel, if they take these reviews from critics in stride, you could get a really fantastic film. But as long as Graham King is attached to that, I have no faith in that whatsoever.
I don't know who to put the blame on fully, like which parties deserve the blame, but I have a feeling that you're not going to get it if Graham King is involved. I also have no reason to think you're going to get it if Antoine Fuqua is involved. I think he's there for the music aspect of it.
I mean, if you go based on his comments from earlier this week, I could agree with you. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Yeah.
I was like, brother, we don't need to say this shit out loud. There's some things you can keep to yourself.
Yep.
And like
that, and that's why even with the allegations thing, it's like, had they done it like the original way, I feel like this would have been genuinely worse. So yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Like if this wasn't a part 2, like that would have just felt so shoehorned in the third act.
Yeah.
Knowing that was the entire
framing device.
Yeah, so I was like,
like that's a crazy framing device already to begin with.
Yes, but like,
it's genuinely a damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's the albatross that you cannot not address.
But like, I think and I agree with you. It works better because I think as a whole, this just works if you're doing a sequel. This is the Michael Jackson, the Joe Jackson years. This is the story about getting away from Joe. That is the underlying theme of this first film. Is it done to its best ability? No, I'm not going to say that. But like my father and I both thought that Coleman has a chance at an Oscar nom for this. I know Nick doesn't agree, but
I thought that going into this.
I know you don't agree now, but a lot of people still think that Coleman will get Oscar love, but at the same time, Wicked for Good sucked ass, and no Oscar love came of that. So
yeah, but that's also because all Oscar love we ate for part 1. So there's still a chance this will probably get a bunch of it, just as like the quote unquote, the audience favorite, whatever.
But like Jaafar,
like the blockbuster award they give out.
I wouldn't be against. I wouldn't be against Jaafar getting a nomination because, like, again, I know all the problems I have with the movie, none of them are his fault.
No,
he worked his ass off, and it pays off in dividends.
I am not. A lot of it, I was like, he's just for a first time performance, like, woo, and I just. No, there was rarely a moment where I didn't feel like I was. I'm
like, this is Mike.
Yeah, it was Mike. Like I said, my only issue with Jaafar is the hypothetical of what comes next. What he did here, I think, could not have done a better job as Michael. Like I said, I watched the whole thing, and at no point was I like, hey, that's a guy trying to be Michael. Like it just felt like Michael.
Yes.
Also, even the kid. What's it called? Is it Alejandro or whatever?
Little Michael?
Little Michael. Like Jackson Michael. That kid is amazing. That kid, when he was fucking dancing, like learning from Jay, I'm like, this is it.
He had swagger.
So both Michaels, incredible.
Juliano
Valdi, thank you. I was like, it's something like with a silent H or J, whatever.
Yeah, it's a silent J. Juliano Valdi.
Yeah, but both him and then Jaafar were phenomenal. So like to be the positive, like the positive part, that's where I'm like, it's all on them, and they carry it very well.
But I don't think that obviously not the kid, but I don't think that Jaafar deserves the award consideration because so much of the film is just the musical numbers.
Exactly.
And, like, I don't think
that's like here. The moments he's given to shine, he shines spectacularly. That's what I think for the better.
It's just the script is some bullshit. Yeah, the script and everything else is some bullshit. Like I don't even dislike Antoine Fuqua, but like here, there's just no style.
The script's so shallow.
He has like nothing to work with.
Yes, and that's I know like Nick doesn't seem to subscribe to this idea as much but it's one of those things where he's seeing Fuqua's previous work and but also knowing what he said over the last week. I don't know. Maybe there is a part of him where this is the story he wanted to tell. Like, before his comments this week, I would have been like, yeah, no, Fuqua just he just had nothing. Now hearing his comments, I'm like, maybe he was like, okay, I like this version. This is what we're gonna roll with.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is something to think about, Shaq. Even although we've been defending him a bit, it's one of those things where it's like.
Also a knock on Fuqua. I guess I'll say a knock on Fuqua and the editors. I think that Billie Jean scene looks horrible.
You're the only one who thinks that, Nick.
That scene
he's actually not the only one. I don't think it's that bad, but I'm thinking of like, is it as bad as anything in like Bohemian Rhapsody? Bohemian had like some of the worst editing I've ever seen.
But because that's a specific recreation. Like if you watch the videos where they show the actual performance and the version, it is so bad.
Sure.
It is bad.
But that's what happens when you have to recreate something like that.
But this is a problem. It's bad enough that because they dropped that scene before the film was released. They dropped that scene as like a promotional tool.
Yeah.
I watched it and I went, oh shit. And then not in a good way. And then when I saw the film, nothing in the film is as bad as that scene, which is a positive for the overall of the film. But like that scene sticks out like a sore thumb. whether it's the lighting, the crowd reactions, and even like the Michael recreation, like the movements and the way it just feels so overproduced. It doesn't have the authenticity. The moment of the moonwalk for the first time doesn't hit the way the live performance of the moonwalk for the first time hit. Like, I think that is a failure in filmmaking, that scene, because that is handed to you on a platter, that this is like a moment in television history, and you made it not land.
I get what you're saying.
It landed for me, and I'll speak for Rue here. It landed for Rue too, because Rue and Nick got into it in our group chat. Like they really did, and I was just like, I'm Team Rue on this one. Sorry, Nick.
Like I said, I've seen all the concert DVDs. I probably own all the concert DVDs. I love Michael Jackson's performances and music videos and all that kind of stuff, but he didn't recreate them. Even like Thriller was like a really like impressive recreation,
choreography wise, yes.
Choreography wise, but it felt hollow.
Yeah, it literally felt like it's just a random alleyway in like the cheapest way.
It's like the vitiligo comment. It's just, these are things that were thrown in that are just like there, and I don't know why.
It was funny as hell that they're like, Michael talked to the AD and not to John Landis, because they're like, oh, we can't have him in this, so we'll just put like the back of his head.
Yeah. And like the whole incident with the Pepsi commercial, like that was really the only amount of stakes in the film for Michael.
Yeah, that's the only like bad non-abuse thing that happened to him in the movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We're sorry, Matt. We're sorry if we're bringing you down on a film that you.
No. Like I said, the movie's a 3.5. I'm sticking with the 3.5. I have no issue sticking to it. Like I said, the only reason in my official reviews I bumped it up for 4 was because I thought Coleman, Jaafar, and to an extent Neil Long, who was completely underused, but the moment she shines.
She was good, yeah, just underused.
Because Catherine deserves more love. But because of those performances, which are essentially, if one of those performances doesn't work, in my opinion, this film doesn't work. This car doesn't drive. Period. And that's why I'm like, I've been telling people all weekend, to me, it's a 3.5 movie that you put it through because of these performances, put a nice little polish on it. It's a 4. That's just my personal view.
If, like I said, the goal of this film, because you're not showing any of the deeper stuff and you're not showing any of the controversy, obviously, if the goal of this film is to celebrate the music of Michael Jackson, there are a lot better ways to do it.
Yes.
I'll just say, like, do what my mom did to me and my brother. Just get like Michael Jackson #1s and just play all of them videos back to back.
I'm not gonna lie. I did that after the trailer came out that I did a reaction to. I watched a lot of his music videos again and massive performances again. Like, that's because the trailer got me hyped.
Yeah.
The movie's nowhere near as good as that trailer. That trailer is a fantastic fucking trailer. But the movie's still solid enough. It is still solid enough to me, and I'd watch it again. I'm gonna have to watch it again because I promised to take my godson to it, who's actually the person I took to see MJ the Musical with me. So like he loves Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Just let him look at that. You look at someone like he loves Michael Jackson. He loves Michael. Like he went to shed a tear and shit.
He's an old soul. He loves Michael Jackson. He likes going to musicals. One year for his birthday, I'm like, all right, we're celebrating your birthday. What do you want to do? And he said to me, he's like, I want to see it was 2021. He wanted me to take him to see In the Heights the movie and go to a Guardians game. Those were and go get tacos. That was his birthday day. He wanted tacos, Guardians baseball, and to see In the Heights the movie. So and he loves musicals. I laughed because something that the MJ musical does better than this the MJ musical does not just play his greatest hits. They just like they do like a super cover towards the end of it of like his greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
And my godson, he's like, what the hell is this? They didn't play any of his good stuff. I'm like, yes, they did. He's like, that ending doesn't count. I'm like,
doesn't matter.
For an adult like me, it does.
Like, play the deep cuts. Come on,
like,
now.
And see, that's what I will say. That's why I can say I love the musical. That's why the musical, in my eyes, is 10 times better. Now, if you want to put Jaafar on Broadway and MJ the musical, I'll buy it.
That changes everything. But yeah, to go back to the movie, it's fine. Like, again, I'd say this. His music is still undeniable. Like, that shit, like, even just listening to it earlier this week, I'm like, this shit still goes as crazy as it did probably when it came out. The movie, I'll forget I see this within like the next month or so, honestly. Which is not something I should say about a Michael Jackson movie.
No.
So yeah, I don't hate it. I don't hate it anywhere near as much as like several critics do.
Let me say you this. I think you'll still be talking about Jaafar's performance.
Yes. I'll still be talking about Jaafar's performance. Any other aspect of the movie will be forgotten.
Yes. Or maybe Coleman too, but
yeah.
But yes, every other aspect, I totally agree with you.
Mm-hmm. And that basically sums up how I feel.
Yeah, if it weren't for the performances, hey.
And we had a measured discussion, talking about things we liked and didn't like. Watch them comments still be fucking toxic. I bet you like $2.
Canadian or US?
Oh shit, Canadian. I ain't got that much money like that. I ain't balling.
Hey, $2 Canadian is much more than $2 US right now.
I think the biggest failure of this film, like, we're critics, so we're all going to see a second one. Mm-hmm. I'm not interested in the second one if it happens. Like, they've disenfranchised me to the story of Michael Jackson, which is an incredible thing to have done, that I don't care about the quote-unquote meteor version of his life. The second part, I feel like I'm just going to get a lot more of the same. And, like, I might get a good Jaafar performance. I'm probably not going to get as good of a Jaafar performance as I got here. I'm going to get probably less of the music because they want to stuff it with more of the controversy. And it's going to be a sanitized version of the controversy. Regardless of what you think about the allegation, because they are still allegations. Nothing was ever proven.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. Like, they don't have to show a definitive yes or no. He did this, he didn't do this, which is fine. But when you're putting that in this supposed second film, like, what is the point? Like, what are you adding to his story? Like I said, there are things you can do. You can do some of the other music videos, whether it's the more cinematic ones, like the full version of the black or white video, or like even when he does like Remember the Time with Eddie Murphy, or when he does the You Rock My World video later in his career, the Invincible album, the This Is It tour. Like, there are things that you can do, but you've shown me the way that you're going to tell his story thus far, and it makes me not want to see you tell the rest of its story. And I think they have a lot of work to do to show that if they are going to, that they can do it in a more genuine manner than what we got here.
Yeah. Well, folks, I think that's our discussion on the film. Yeah. Michael, listen, audiences are loving it. Critics are more. We didn't really dive into. Real quick, a friendly reminder. Here's how Rotten Tomatoes works. If it's under a 3 out of 5, it's considered rotten. Those under 3s out of 5s can be 2.5 or 2.75, which normally just means the movie's okay. Don't look at the tomato meter. The tomato meter is lying bullshit.
No, it only means this is how many people out of this number who liked it.
Yes.
It gets like as people say, you can give this. It could all 100 critics could have given this shit a 7 out of 10, and it would still be considered 100. It does not leave that much space for nuance. And even then, when they did it, they did have a thing saying, "Here's the average score," but they removed that for some fucking reason because they're morons.
No, it's not because they're morons, but it's because they realize people just look at the score and we get hits and clicks off.
Exactly.
So it's from a marketing perspective, it was smart.
Yeah, I said, as a motherfucker who's on there, don't take stock in the shit.
Yeah, don't. And my father's a tomato meter critic, and yeah,
he'll tell you the same thing. Yeah. Don't take stock in it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like, as someone who spends your time watching or reading critics, like, a 3 out of 5 is not a bad film.
It's not.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think that.
But here, you said Michael's a 2.5 out of 5 for you.
Yes.
That's still an okay. Like,
that is a mid-ass film. That is
it's okay. I'd watch it. That's how I always view that. 2.5
that is a 50%. It is a pass, and it is only a pass because of the music of Michael Jackson. Had it been like something like the Bowie movie you told me about, where they didn't use any of his music, dude, this would have been a 1.
Yeah.
Also, was it the Aaliyah movie that also they couldn't use her music?
Something like that.
Yeah. So like it would be the same thing. Just if you can't use the music, then don't even fucking do it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So with that, folks, Shaq, tell the good people where they can find you.
Pretty much on all social media, Shak Excellence, SHAK Excellence, or you can find my reviews over at cgmagonline.com.
Nick,
I'm here. This is where I'm going to be. I'm always here. We've said this before, we're trying to do a lot more bigger bites this year. This will probably go out very, very soon. So we'll have an interview coming up with Katie and John Magaro, and lots of reviews, tons and tons of reviews on the website.
And you can find me here on A Bigger Bite, but also on my personal YouTube channel, Watt Real Entertainment, where I do my reviews and trailer reactions and all that fun stuff, and other podcasts. So check me out there. But with that, folks, signing off, I am Matt. This was another, I almost said real review, my bad. This is another episode of A Bigger Bite, and we will see you next time. Peace.